weekend was and what you're looking forward to this new week.
Thank you, Herbert.
Yes.
Good morning, Kenyans. My name is Dr. Joseph Mugashia. I am a political analyst and at the same time, I'm a co-convener of the Concerned Citizens Movement, where we deal with issues relating to leadership and governance,
Yes.
as well as economics.
Yeah.
Professor Ogola here is one of our members as well. He's
Okay.
also a co-convener of
Yeah.
the Concerned Citizens Movement.
Okay.
And he's very strong on economics. That is a national economy.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Last week he gifted me his book that I started reading, the Solomonic Economics, and indeed he is a professor in a professional in that line. Thank you very much, Daktari, to be here, Prof.
Yes.
How have you been since last you were here?
Yeah, you know, when I last came here, that day was the day of Sabasaba,
Yes.
and the roads were closed everywhere.
Mm.
But you see, we managed to maneuver
Mm.
thanks to the other side of town where you can pass through in between police stations and
Yeah.
in between people's houses. But I got home.
Yeah.
I am not a happy man because Sabasaba Day wasn't a good day.
Mm.
We lost lives. And I want to start this show by saying we need justice for
Yeah.
Julie Njoki, because what happened to Ojwang, the trend is, the pattern is the same,
Yes.
and the police reaction to it is the same, with lies, not saying the truth. And as the nation says, we need dialogue.
Yeah.
How do we dialogue with these bodies in the mortuary?
Mm.
And yesterday I received very disturbing information, because I went into City Mortuary, Chiromo Mortuary, and there were so many bodies which are named unidentified, like they are Kenyans whom no
Yeah.
one knows who they are. I'm flabbergasted. So you can see that there's a lot going on. I think every time you wake up, you find that there's not, the headline doesn't look good. Today,
Yeah.
if you look at the headlines, tell me which headline has good news. And I'm looking forward, and I have a dream one day that we shall wake up with good news,
Yeah.
and that one day Kenya will be liberated.
Mm.
And I think how we don't know is just like going to heaven, because our Father says that may your kingdom come. So I also believe that may the kingdom of God come into Kenya, so that one day we see head news by saying a child has won scholarship to so-and-so, has been promoted to,
Yeah.
you understand, and that so-and-so has been sorted in healthcare. We are hoping when this news will be there. So I'm hopeful,
Yeah.
but at the same time heartbroken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know how long that is going to take, but we are optimists that one day probably it will happen. And you segued me into the dailies, and I want us to start it off with the Daily Nation. The headlining story this morning in the Daily Nation, Lagat of the book. And this is what the Daily Nation are saying. Now, a controversy. Deputy Inspector General Elwood Lagat is today expected to resume office after investigations cleared him of any wrongdoing over the death of a teacher, a camp blogger Albert Ojwang, in police custody. The police chief was forced to step aside following public pressure and youth-led protests. Gentlemen, what do you make of this news this morning, given that the country went to demonstrate for them believing or them thinking that the DIG in one way or the other caused the death of Ojwang?
First and foremost, Alan, I was at the epicenter of Ojwang's death. I was in the police station just the day after he died. I was at the city mortuary after he died. I was close with the family. I talked to nearly everybody who had contacts with Ojwang. And I am here to confirm that it's impossible.
Yeah.
You can be able to just implicate a junior officer like Mukwana to have caused death, because we ensured that Ojwang was proved to have been murdered.
Yes.
Now, murder in law means that the activity was done and somebody has intention.
Yeah.
If you kill somebody without intention, it's not murder.
Yeah.
It's manslaughter.
Yes.
So Ojwang was murdered means there was an intention. So if you ask yourself, what gain was Mukwana going to have if
By
Ojwang
Ojwang.
died?
Yeah.
And what was he going to lose? Sorry. if this man remains alive.
Yes.
So with that having said, it means clearly that Mukwana did not murder him. Then secondly, we know what's called the hierarchy of police orders. An OCS cannot order another OCS to perform any activity. Normally it doesn't work like that. An OCS, if they want something to happen, another OCS, another police cell,
Yes.
he has to contact his OCPD, and the OCPD can contact another person who is higher than OCP, the other side, to contact the OCPD to give orders to.
Yeah.
But now, there's even DCI involved. An OCS cannot order DCI to leave Nairobi, go to Mawego and back. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is bending justice. We know that Langat is the de facto
Yes.
DG. The one of Kanja is just there. And this is tribalizing the police because there are people in government who believe that the de facto IG should be from the community of the president. And that's why, with all the mistakes Langat has done, has been cleared. So who has cleared him? Who has carried out the investigation? Now, is it DCI? Is it NIS? If they are, how can you, a junior people like DCI, clear a senior person like that? How are they going to be open and transparent? So unless there was a commission, unless there was an independent commission or an independent body that went to clear him, then it can be cleared. According to me, those ones were simply managing the situation. I'm happy to report we have a petition in the court. And if you say it's off the book or off of the hook, I think that they have not seen the hook we have. Yeah.
Dr.
Yeah.
The argument is that DIG Lagat, just as any other Kenyan, he had the right to complain. And his complaining should not implicate him in the death of Ojwang. What's your take?
First of all, I agree. He had. We have to go by the law.
Yes.
Because I'm one person who, my insistence and my belief in governance is that you have to have the rule of law. Outside the rule of law, nothing works.
Yes.
Not even the economy.
Yes.
So that is true. It is the right position.
Yes.
That DIG is a Kenyan
and he has the
right to complain.
Yeah.
Even the president has the right to complain. But once the complaint has been done, the law requires that you register your complaint at a police station, not to an individual. So there should be an OB that he complained of this. And then investigations will follow from there. And the investigations really do not start from going to pick up somebody in Homa Bay and bring him to Nairobi. I'm not a lawyer, but I understand law very well. And that is a misdemeanor. It's not a criminal offense. It's a misdemeanor. So it should have been dealt with by the police station of the jurisdiction of his residence. And it was in Homa Bay. But that police station just served as a transit point to get him to Nairobi. So as much as he has rights, the proper process was not used. And therefore, he comes out as being liable because he short-circuited or he used the wrong process together with the other officers involved, even to arrest Ojwang. So the question of whether is clear or not tells us that there is a lot that has been swept under the carpet. And what this calls for is an inquest. That there needs to be a public inquest into the death of Ojwang because there is apparent miscarriage of justice. So that should go to an inquest. And
Dr. For you to know, it should not only happen for Ojwang, but it is supposed to happen for so many Kenyans that are losing their lives. And as the Prof here has mentioned, the Standard this morning have yet another sad story, and they're saying, oh no, not again. After a day-long standoff between two state security agencies, the police and the prison service, over where 24-year-old Julia Kariuki lost her life, the prison service has admitted that she died in their custody though they claim she arrived already injured. Now, the cold deflection of responsibility, even as life is lost. Where do we see ourselves as a country, really? And I was having a back and forth on the internet on a video that I also posted, because we refer to those most of the time these days. And a person was saying, yes, let them be shot because they are in the wrong. But then I was asking myself, okay, say we agree that they are wrong, but what happened to the sanctity of life? Do people no longer deserve to be alive even though they do wrong? But also, when we look at the confusion that is happening within the government apparatus, and particularly the security apparatus, in such the situation of Kariuki, do we even have leadership in the security apparatus in this country?
You know, I want to come to the contradictions we are seeing in the management of the National Police Service.
Yeah.
And Kenyans must understand that the chief executive officer of the country, who is the president,
Yes.
has completely lost it in matters security. Because first of all, he is the only person who took the oath of office to protect the safety and security of Kenyans and their properties, as required by the Constitution.
Yeah.
But when it comes to taking responsibility, there are two things we are seeing. The president comes in and tells us that he does not control the police service.
Yeah.
And
that
he
is
has
an
no-
argument that is used by so many people.
Let's start with him.
Yes.
Because he's
head
the
of state.
overall. Yeah, he's the overall boss.
Yes.
And he's the one we have entrusted with the responsibility of safeguarding the safety and security of Kenyans and our properties. So he comes and tells us that he does not have control over the National Police Service. Yet, he is the person from the Constitution who appoints the Inspector General of Police. And he's also the Commander-in-Chief
Yeah.
of all disciplined forces in the country. So how does it work that you appoint an individual and yet you have no control over him? It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
And it's not like that. At the end of the day, the president is the chair of the National Security Council.
Yeah.
And that is the organ that checks on security matters. So when he tells Kenyans that he has no control over the National Police Service, he's lying to Kenyans. Now, second, the same person, the president, comes forward and gives shoot to maim orders. So what changed? Why is he now issuing the
directives?
The directives. And if you are giving those orders, you cannot give orders to the police constables. You are giving the orders to the Inspector General of Police,
so that he
who
trickles
a
down.
few days ago,
Yes.
you told us you have no control over him. He's lost it. Now you come down to his, not his, the government CS
Yes.
of Interior.
Yes.
That is Murkomen.
Yes.
He said the same things. But then a few days later, he's saying he's giving the orders to kill, shoot to kill.
Yeah.
So why are these people behaving like though they do not understand the constitution they work under,
Yeah.
and the laws they work under, and the principles of leadership and management?
Yeah.
Whereby you know that if you appoint people, you have responsibility over those people. And that is already given.
Yeah.
When you have the National Security Council, and when you are the Commander-in-Chief of all the disciplined forces in the Republic, that is your responsibility. So what we are seeing, to go back to your question now on the police excesses we are seeing,
Yes.
is that the National Police Service, under the various managers, starting with the IG, then you come to CS Interior, you come to the President, there is loss of command. There is no command. And there are things they are doing that we can look and analyze and see that they have it's like they have decided they are going to be very, very draconian on the citizens. And we know the reason why. Because the citizens have told the president, you are not leading us the way we agreed. You are not leading us according to the constitution.
Yeah.
You have run down the economy. You have been lying to us. You are not delivering. And because the president cannot deliver, now he has resorted to extreme violence and denials of responsibility.
Yeah.
And for that, we have said several times, and I'll repeat it here. What we need is to impeach the president. And the people who we have given the responsibility of checking, oversighting, and even firing the president is the National Assembly and the Senate. Those people have let us down. By now, the president should have been back at home like Gachagua is, and we should be having another president who can deliver to Kenyans.
Yeah.
Thank
Prof,
you.
Yes.
in the sentiments that Dr. is sharing, of course, there is the question of how possible it is and how soon could we get the legislatures, the National Assembly to do their job. But in the excesses of the police, what do you have to say about that?
You know, first of all, I want to say that there is what is called command responsibility. There is what is called the doctrine of the command responsibility, which means that the superiors in the security apparatus, though may not directly perform any act that might be of injustice, but they still remain with the fact that they can be in omission, meaning there is an instruction they would have given. Had they given, we could have saved life.
Yes.
That's omission.
Yes.
And there's commission, that there is an instruction they gave that led to loss of life. So murder normally must be the act and the intention. So the person who can do the act could be somebody else, but the person whose intention was to eliminate is somebody else. So that's where the command responsibility comes in. And
Yeah.
it goes up to the president of the Republic of Kenya. The reason why the president takes two oaths, one, due allegiance to the Constitution and the people of Kenya, and then two, due execution of office, is just to simply say that the ultimate responsibility he has is to the people of Kenya and the Constitution. And the death of Ojwang, now the death of Julie Njoki, the president has failed. Because why do you think that the president is the chair, like he says, of the national security? It's the ultimate responsibility is with him. The buck stops with the president. If you cannot secure any life, it does not matter whether you can offer education. Alan, you can build road from here to Timbuktu, but if you cannot have people who are alive in the country, if you can't protect life, it's useless. This thing began by a simple thing. Bill, finance bill. They told you stop house levy, but you believe people rather die but you build a house. What if you build 1 million houses in Kenya and there are no Kenyans, they're all dead? And Alan, there's something that is worrying me. The statement by the president, when he said, if there's no Kenya for me, there's no Kenya for you, that's the worst statement I've heard from any head of state anywhere in the world. Because he's simply saying he's above the Constitution and he's above Kenya. What does, if there's no Kenya for you, there's no Kenya for you, there's no Kenya for me, there's no Kenya for you? It means if I am not president, then you rather die. That's the statement. And I'm sure you can interpret the way you want, but I think that if you are objective enough, you can see that he repeated by saying, you want to overthrow me, which means I will only leave office if all of you are dead. Well, I want to tell Mr. President that many people tried that route, they never worked. You can go even in Romania. There's a president in Romania in the 1960s who tried this same thing, 1989.
Yeah.
Who tried this script, it never worked for him. He eventually left the country in a chopper, and because choppers cannot fly across the border, he was arrested and he was prosecuted. So I want to tell William Ruto, let power not get into your head. power without responsibility is useless. The power you have is to protect the lives of Kenyans.
Yeah.
Is to protect the property of Kenyans. Don't even give access to their goons burning, because you should actually do it. When the president says that I have nothing to do about what my officers are saying, one, the president receives intelligence. I'm sure, Alan, we are told that the president should be the first one to wake up in the country, just like in your home. Your children cannot wake up and you are in bed. As the head of the family, you wake up. Because if your wife wakes up and finds there are thugs at the door and they beat her up, and the husband is still sleeping, how will that look? So we are told the president is the first one to wake up, and he gets the security brief. In Baragoi, this is happening. In Lamu, we heard about this. In Tana River, that's happened. In Taita Taveta, in Kwale, in Kilifi, in Nyeri, in Karatina, in Sugoi, you understand the country, then you give some instruction. I believe you should do this and this to protect life and property given what's happening in the country, isn't it?
Yes.
But now if you say that you have no control, you cannot order them, the command responsibility remains with you, you're committing either the sin of omission or commission. Now when you say shoot the leg, now there's something wrong here with shoot the leg. People may think just shoot the leg. When you aim to shoot somebody's leg, and normally children are younger, they are shorter, you can shoot the head of a child. People are just thinking that this just shoot the leg, as if all of us are the same height. Not all of us are the same height. Some people are younger, they are smaller. Some people are shorter. So some people's legs are longer, some people's legs are shorter. This order is confusing.
Yes.
Even to the police. And now you see now Murkomen is saying shoot to kill, then he says shoot to maim, then the chair of security committee in parliament says shoot to kill. So actually you're confusing even the policemen. Which order should they take? So someone can even say shoot the leg because the president says shoot the leg, but the CS interior is saying shoot to kill, isn't it? So if you shoot to kill, you have disobeyed who? The president. If you shoot to maim, you're disobeyed the Minister of Interior. And if you shoot to maim, you're disobeyed the chairperson of the committee in parliament in charge of security, Koech. Now, how can we have a country where we have so many orders? Then lastly, all these orders are constitutional. Let me talk to the policemen. My brothers and sisters, you've seen what has happened to previous policemen who obeyed the orders of their bosses. They went to court alone, even without a lawyer. Mark my word, after that bullet has left your gun, you are all alone just like that bullet. Those people will not care about you. What they care is protect power. And once you shoot somebody, by protecting you, their power is threatened, they're going to abandon you.
Yes.
So just do this. You are a Kenyan. Don't shoot anybody because there's no law that allows you. Then when you're telling somebody, shoot to maim, you have made judgment. Because only the judge can make a decision about who has stolen. Because they say, when a thief comes to the police station, how can the policeman be able to reach the conclusion this is a thief? Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. So you cannot know who is guilty by looking from far and shooting. So in all intent and purpose, the government is wrong, the head of state is completely misplaced, and the government officials that are working around him are not helping him. And lastly, I think there is something that we have to talk about William Ruto, which is very fundamental here, Alan. William Ruto is the only president of Kenya among the 5 who has no profession. You know that? Which profession is the president? Politician is not a profession. Our first president, Kenyatta, was a meter reader in Nairobi Water Company. At least he worked under somebody. He was supervised. Maybe he was fired or sometimes threatened, given a warning letter, isn't it? Just like all of us here must have received one, isn't it? The second president was a teacher. Being a teacher, he had a head teacher who must have actually been district officer. Those ones, you remember when we were in school, when district officers used to visit school, all teachers were very humble. Some of them could run the staff room. They could be smart that day when they know there was a visit. So Moi must have seen bosses around him. The third president, who is Mwai Kibaki, was an economist. He was a lecturer. He was able to at least get a supervisor. He wrote scheme of work. He marked books. Sometimes he was given a warning letter here and there, but he learned his lessons. The fourth president worked in KCB. Remember, every time he has birthday, KCB Bank normally wish him happy birthday. That's Uhuru Kenyatta. He worked as an employee of KCB, which means at least he worked either as a teller. I don't know which work he worked exactly in the bank, but he worked at the bank. Tell me whether William Ruto was even a receptionist in a bar to know even how to arrive at time or to work on time, leave on time. Nothing. So I'm also asking Kenyans, you might be obsessed with big names. Ask yourself, do Kenya need politicians, career politicians, or Kenya needs a professional who at least knows governance, he's a governance expert, an economist, someone who belongs to a professional association. William Ruto does not belong to any single professional association, whether it's engineers, surveyors, doctors, nothing. He has nothing to lose by making any instructions. While Kibaki was even a member of an economist association of East Africa, there are so many economic associations that economists belong to that someone can tell you, your economic theory doesn't seem to work with general economics. So we are having people who are scammers working for us, and that's why Ruto does not obey professionalism. He does not appoint people on merit. He appoints people on loyalty, or if you like, chronism. So we are looking at a time when Kenyans, when you go to an election, if you elect a career politician who has never known anything governance, because William Ruto told us on the face, my first job was an MP, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, what are MPs known for? You go to parliament, like my brother Joe has said, they cannot even read a budget. They just look at what the president is saying, and people in the media,
and that's what they push.
And what they push. So according to me, the president is not a professional. Expecting something from somebody who has been a career politician, you cannot expect politics. He believes politics is more important than the constitution, is more important than right to life. And that's why he says, if there's no Kenya for me,
there is no Kenya for anybody else.
Alan,
Yes.
can I come in? Allow me to say something.
Yes, I'm going to allow you to say something, but as well, join it with there are Kenyans who also argue that the police must dispense the responsibility as given by standing orders. Even the CS Murkomen alluded to that. What do they need to do, or what alternatives are there? Because there are Kenyans who are saying, either way, we are losing our property. What should the police do in such a situation? I'm not going to mention the name of a supermarket, but to date it is still closed. There are people who work in that supermarket, but people also probably might have lost lives, as you have been sharing with us, Prof. But then, in that conundrum where things get rowdy, what should the police do in that situation?
That is very simple. and that is actually the comment I wanted to make. Thank you very much for the question.
Yeah.
Kenyans must understand that the police do not work in a vacuum. They work in very strict set of laws,
Yes.
regulations, and protocols. They have a structure, and that is why they are part of the disciplined forces. We understand security because I have training in security. I understand security.
Yes.
And we know very well that orders are not given by multiple people. Orders are given in a very strict cascade from the top
To the bottom.
to the bottom. And you cannot skip a stage. Like the president cannot order the police to shoot. It is unconstitutional. That is a constitutional violation.
Yes.
It is not his job. The person who orders a policeman to shoot is the commander of the unit on site. And the commander of the unit on site does not order at whim. There is a structure of how you order a shooting. The people who have live ammunition in a unit,
Yes.
they are known and they are counted. They are counted, and they are given the instructions right from deployment that you are the one who is protecting the unit from extreme danger.
Yes.
But before you protect the unit, you must protect the law-abiding citizens. So these orders which are being given, they are not valid. They are unlawful orders. So if the president wants to give an order, he cannot even give it in public. He has to give the order to the IG of police.
Yes.
The IG of police cascades it
down
through the ranks, and it comes all the way down to the operatives on the ground. That is the police officers on the ground, coming now from their immediate commander. And they don't even know where the order came from, but they know it is coming from their immediate commander. That structure has been broken. And what we are seeing are policemen running around with guns. I know when we used to be, when we were at university, we used to look at those guys, and you would see the guy with the gun is always close to the commander of the unit, because you'll get the orders from that commander, and those orders are accountable. When the shooting happens, there must be somebody who is responsible. So even having parliamentarians talking about shoot to kill, that's the chairman of the security committee, that is unconstitutional. And yet these are the people who are supposed to ensure implementation of the constitution. All these people have violated, one, the constitution, they have violated the rights of Kenyans, and they have violated the law of Kenya. So my call to the police officers is, please stick to your police regulations, how you are supposed to operate. Stick to the law. Kenyans are not enemies to the police. Kenyans, we are not enemies to the government. But the government has declared war on Kenyans. This must stop. And that is the reason why we keep on going back to the issue of the president being impeached by Parliament, by the National Assembly, approved by Senate. And I hope we'll discuss that later, because it's something that we need to clarify.
To weigh in on.
Yes. So, in conclusion,
yes,
what is happening is unconstitutional. It is illegal. The police, as Fred says, those who actually do the shooting, following the orders from that is from people who are not lawfully giving the orders. That is the president, Murkomen, and the chairman of the defense committee. They are on their own. And you will go to jail alone. You will be hated by the people alone, and you will suffer alone. Yes.
I hope there is a police officer who is watching that message. Gentlemen, I want us to take a quick break. When we come back, I want us to weigh into that conversation of the IEBC and what next it is for it. And probably while we are winding up, we'll probably talk about the probable impeachment of the president and the dilemma that might throw us in as a country. Keep it Science TV, and if you have any questions, kindly utilize the numbers on your screens and our social media platforms so that we are able to share your sentiments with Dr. here and Prof. We'll